So we missed a day. Yesterday was cold, quite cold here, so I just Ide. We've been absent from our program. Today I'm curious to see what the result of the test is for the very stable genius. This morning the breaking news was that somebody in his... Dă-te jos, mă! Dă-te, mă, jos, mă! Nu mă fă să spun mereu! Somebody in his entourage has tested positive and they're waiting for a result of the test. What should I say? I hope he has it. If not, for him to die, which might be an interesting alternative. Then to teach a lesson, even if this guy is never learning, but perhaps a tiny fraction from the hordes that worship him. No, that's not really likely. So I don't know. For millions, tens, hundreds, millions, maybe for a billion, his death would be maybe a good thing. That's not categorical imperative. Kant would not, and others, and morals would not agree with that. But then I know this is. I started watching some philosophy courses at Harvard, available online, free, and they had this, and I've seen it before. Actually, I had seen it before. This question: what do you do if you have the power to influence? There's a train, and you can change the tracks. And what do you do if you know the train going, it's out of control, going on one route, it would kill, I forgot the number, but more, let's say 8, and if it goes on this track it just kills 1. What would you do? So most people think, dă-te, mă, jos, mă, termină, mă, când îți spun. Tâmpitule, ți-am adus 1000 de lemne. And so most people would choose to save 6, 7, have just 1 kill. But then it gets more complicated because they ask, what if you have to physically push a man in front of the train or whatever so that it stops and saves the other 7, 18, I don't know, who would die along further down the road. So the same thing here. I mean, with him there, more will die because they would follow his advice, if we can call that advice, his example, without mask, without protection, ignoring, saying it's a hoax, it's nothing, it's gone already, it's around the corner when it's not, and so on. So that's an interesting. But anyway, let's return for the moment. We'll talk tomorrow. Maybe by tomorrow, the world is free of the President Caligula, as Seth Meyers called him, American Ceausescu. So we'll see. He will not be. I mean, it will take time, even if something happens serious. Maybe he's, by this time, they know it's on the news that he's all right. It's negative. His test is negative. But let me return for a little while to our own history. So, in previous episodes, a long time ago, last week or whenever, I mentioned the miners coming down to Bucharest. Stone Age, they had been there before. I covered the events while working for some journalists, Radio Sweden and others, after the revolution, which I have to repeat here. I'm proud. This is the place where I can say things. Inside I'm persona non grata. I'm not, if I talk, it's not that I'm not allowed to talk, But if I talk, it's to the walls because nobody's listening. It's oh, shut up, and so there you go. A hero taking part in the one mentioned in Newsweek. I have the paper to prove it. Um, so yeah, we had that thing in the dormitory where they thought our questions were bizarre, and so we must work for the secret police or something. And I was about to be tortured to confess, to admit to my real occupation. We went through that, and Adi became friends with this girl, painter and heavy drinker. We went with her to Costinești, and I was about to say, I remember. The word is not I don't, I remember. I know somehow that one evening we went out, we had drinks, and I was the one to pass out. She stayed on. So I can't say I remember because passing out, everything was in a blur. But this I know the next day. They were there and laughed a little that I was incapacitated. I had been incapacitated. And the girl had something else too special. She knew something about, in theory at least, communicated with the dead, with the ghosts or something. She had this, she knew with the cards or something with the, and we said let's do something. I don't know if we did. The result was zero. If maybe we didn't even try, I'm not sure. But if we did, it wasn't. There had been, I mentioned previously, 15 episodes again. There was someone. There had been someone in another dormitory. This time, for the law school near the opera house. There we met someone who knew details about Adi that I had not known, and it was very bizarre. I mean, it seemed like she had the sixth sense, because it didn't seem like there had been somebody to give her secret information to use, as it almost always happens when there's magic. It's not magic. They show you this hand, it's a question of attention. We can't be, we're not able to see everything, even if it's in front of us. There's the famous, if you want, you can Google it. It's gorilla experiment. When people told to watch and be attentive to the basketball game and count how many passes there were, and they're attentive to that. They count the exchanges and what's going on, but they don't see that a gorilla, while they were attentive to that, a gorilla, a man dressed in a gorilla suit, comes on the track, and it's very visible if you're not very concentrated on something else. So at the end of the experiment, when asked, did you see the gorilla? No, I have no idea. As I said, you can watch, you can learn more the details of the experiment. But the bottom line is we don't have this ability to see. And that's how magic works. You watch the left hand, and with the right hand is taking your wallet, he has to be very good, of course. He has to be very agile and so on. But it's a question of attracting or attracting the attention to one place, and then using this thing or but for this girl, and what was the purpose? If you had like it happens, crooks, scoundrels in books, in reality, when they take advantage, and it makes sense for them to find details which then they can use or abuse. But in our case, nobody knew we were coming, and what was the point? There wasn't anything to speculate on. A lot of money or power. But anyway, that was bizarre. So um, the card reading or fortune telling, whatever it was. In Costinești, there was a thing with a car, but I will leave that for tomorrow. Something happened while we went visiting in Constanța from Costinești. Something serious happened. Well, it turned out to be some fun too, but well, there was also some adversity involved. Tomorrow, more.